Dean's List, hosted by Dean Kitaboski, produced by Davis Piper. We're about to talk to some really interesting people. Get ready. I'm going to get harder and harder on the intro. Every time I'm going to air drum a little bit harder every single time.
Yeah.
Okay. Jameson Munno, fashion extraordinaire. I'm going to introduce everybody with extraordinaire after their title.
As you should.
Yeah. So we're going to get into a little art project you did. It was a really cool art project you did in a little while. But first we were talking about the Met trip.
Yeah.
That you took with your art classes. So what was the point?
Okay, so basically, since COVID happened, we weren't able to go on any field trips, and usually the global art history class that Miss LaPola teaches, they always go to the Met just to actually see what we learned about. So we were learning about a lot of different abstract artists and a lot of different very modern artists too. So we were actually able to go this year, which was really cool. So me and Davis both went, and we saw a lot of artists that we actually recognized. And actually anybody in any art class was able to go just because it was the first trip back from COVID.
I mean, I don't think I've ever been on a trip with this school.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. It would have been awesome to go to the Met.
You went on the Boston trip freshman year.
That doesn't count.
Okay,
please,
but that does count. That counts.
Okay, so did you have specific artists in mind that you were trying to go see?
Not really. I mean, actually, when I found Davis and Alex in the Met, I was just kind of going off on my own. I kind of just ooh, I'm going to enjoy the art, have a good time on my own. And then I found them, and I found artists that I actually recognized. So that was really cool to be wow, this is just so amazing that I can really see this in real life.
It's the first time anyone's ever said that Davis and Alex had directive.
No, we fully got lost, but it was really cool to just see all of this incredible, interesting art that it's so different from what I do, just because I used to be a really big painter, but then I leaned more into fashion design and got really into that. But just seeing how in large scale these paintings really were, because we're seeing them in these little boxes that are smaller than our phones on a computer. So actually seeing them in real life was whoa, I really understand what's going on here.
Right. Do you have a favorite that you saw? You're this is awesome type thing? Or better question, did you have one that you saw that was way cooler in person than it was that you saw when you researched it online?
Yeah, there was actually a Jackson Pollock painting, and it's basically just a lot of splatter paints. So
I love those.
No, but
those are my
it was
favorites.
so cool because literally the way he did it, he had this huge canvas out on this field, and he literally was just going for it with all these splatter paints. And you're seeing this in this small box on on a piece of paper on a computer, and then seeing it in real life, it was massive, and it was so cool to actually see this in real life. And then I actually ended up getting a poster of it because I was oh, I love this so much. Mm-hmm. But it was so cool to just see how large it was and see how how hard it must have been to actually accomplish that.
Have you seen those clips of people, they tie balloons with paint inside, they throw darts at it,
oh my God,
and that's
yes.
how they make their artwork?
No, I kind of love those. It's so fun. It's spontaneous.
That's what I picture making these huge canvases is but I mean, I have no idea which one you're talking about specifically.
No, I know.
But I know the Met has some massive,
they have massive
canvases.
Things, yeah.
And you see the temple? Oh my gosh, what's it called?
Oh yeah, we saw the temple.
What's it called?
I don't remember
again?
what it was called.
It's Davis. What's that temple at the Met called? Look that one up, because that was it's starts with a D. It was featured in one of the Ocean's movies.
No, I remember that.
I
remember that. Gala. That was really good. But yeah, I saw that, and actually, so our teachers made scavenger hunts for us. So when we were in the Met, we had to go and find specific artifacts. So there was a lot of things for the ancient Egypt and Greece and.
Temple of Dendor.
Oh, Dendor, right. Temple of
yeah.
Dendor. That's a really cool one. I really you can't go inside it, I don't think.
No.
But you
but
can...
it's so cool. Just being in the Met is such an incredible experience because honestly, I got lost 5 times. And
it's
just
big,
it's
big
so
and confusing
big.
building.
It's really confusing, but honestly, getting lost is more fun than actually knowing where you are because you're oh, I've seen this, but let's go find something new that's around here that I didn't go last time.
There's always something new.
There's always something new.
It's 4 floors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a million.
It's crazy.
It's huge. I mean, I especially like the Temple of Dendor. First off, that name is awesome. But I especially like that one because I think you know this. I had or maybe you don't. I had an ancient Greek, ancient Egypt phase.
Oh, I do remember that.
Remember?
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, it's still super cool. But I really, really liked that. I was more Greek. I like the Greek stuff more. But that was always a really cool one because they've got a bunch of artifacts, not in the temple, but in the rooms surrounding the temple.
Exactly.
And then also, it's funny because everyone usually goes to that room to sit there because their feet are tired.
Yeah.
But like, in reality, I think it's the coolest room in the whole
No, it really
building.
is. And it's so open, and it literally feels like you're outside because
There's
of
a
all
moat.
the windows.
There's literally a moat.
So, like, it
It's
feels
really
like
cool.
you're outside. It's really cool.
Mm.
And actually, so my favorite part of the exhibit, or being at the Met, was actually, it's not surprising, but the America, a Lexicon in Fashion, that was, like, my favorite place to go. And I actually went in there twice because I was so excited about it. I just, like, I needed to get one last glimpse before I left. And, like, it was so cool to see all these designers that I've, like, been learning more about as I've gotten more into fashion, just, like, seeing what they've done. And, like, there was somewhere I actually recognized them. So it was like, oh, I know this designer. Like, I know their work. And that was really cool for me because it's like, I actually have learned something in art. And, like, I feel like people are most of the time like, oh, you're in an art class, you're throwing paint on a canvas, it's not that big a deal. But, like, there's actually so much background about every single style of art and every single thing that you do. So, like, actually knowing what was happening and, like, who made it and why they made it was really interesting.
Is there anyone in that exhibit that you took inspiration from when you were making your dresses?
Not really.
No?
I mean, personally for me, I'm a really big, like, Met Gala fan. So, like, you see these one-of-one dresses that, like, people are making for these specific events. So, like, if it's something, like, ready to wear, I'm not as into it. So, like, anything that, like, you just wear day to day, like that t-shirt, it's ready to wear.
Oh, yeah.
Or, yeah.
And I wear it every day.
You do. But, like, all of these, there was one from the Met Gala. I don't remember who made it, but it was, like, this large, like, extremely poofy big dress. And it just, like, it was the first one as you walk down, and it was so gorgeous.
Well, was that on display?
It was on display.
Okay.
All of these dresses were, like, in, like, white boxes, kind of, like, but, like, cased in so that you wouldn't touch them. But they had, like, definitions of what they were meant to represent and then, like, what the definition of that word was so that you could kind of understand where it was coming from more. And I found that actually the most interesting part because you're, like, you get to know the background behind each of these things that you're seeing.
So they make specific dresses to display at the Met Gala?
Well, at the Met Gala, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, the Met Gala event, it's basically, so the designers pay for tables.
Okay.
And then, like, they have people that wear their clothing and go sit at those tables. So, like,
okay.
you see, like,
So everybody's sponsored to be there.
basically.
Okay.
You can pay for a single seat, but, like, it's more expensive to pay for, like, a seat than a table. So usually if you're going, you're
okay.
buying a table.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are, like, the big companies that buy at the table? I assume it's, like, I can't even, how am I blanking on all these companies'
Like
names?
Versace,
All the big ones. There you go.
Gucci,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Chanel, Vera Wang, Alexander
Okay.
McQueen, you know.
And do
people
all,
that.
like, because we see, like, for example, Blake Lively came out in her ridiculous dress. Yeah,
Oh my
see,
gosh.
that's
Oh my
what
gosh.
my dad was telling me about this. He was like,
I
"Do you
love
see that dress?
That dress was so
You
cool.
see that dress?" Like,
That was the first dress I saw of all the Met Gala looks, and it's my favorite by far. Like, it's so, like, just the story behind the dress itself and what it's meant to represent. So it's meant to represent the Statue of Liberty,
right.
which is, like, and just the way that they made the transformation happen from that copper color to that green color was so incredible. And it just, like, the gloves coming off, everything about it was just, like, so amazing. And just the entire just make of the dress was, like, all these different, like, gold-plated, almost mirror-looking, like, objects.
I mean, I heard
it was really cool.
I heard because it switched,
Yeah.
which is awesome. First off,
Mm-hmm.
but it switched, and I heard initially there was like a blue side or something, bluish side or something. That
Yeah.
was supposed to represent the ceiling of, or it's not the ceiling, the Starry Night above Times Square, or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
And then the other side was like the Statue of Liberty or something like that.
yeah. Well, they're both. It's supposed to be like. What the dress was supposed to represent was kind of like the aging of the Statue of Liberty, because originally when it came over to America from France, it was copper.
Yeah.
So over time, that just, like, the whole, you know, science, whatever, not my thing. But it turned that, like, green color that we know now, and, like, you can see that so well in the dress. It's just, like, that color is so clear, and, like, you know exactly what it's supposed to represent
Right.
when you're seeing it, which I thought was really cool. Well,
That is a cool dress, first off.
It's
I mean, as a
cool.
dress connoisseur that I am.
obviously.
Exactly. Other than that one, though, because everybody's heard about that one, what was your favorite? What would you like to see on the different people, the celebrities?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Because it's a dress event.
It is a dress
It's
event.
like, it's dinner, but at the end of the day, it's like we're not here for the suits.
No.
We're here for the dresses type thing.
Okay, this is actually really controversial. A lot of my friends did not like this one, but I really liked Lizzo's. Like so basically the whole look.
Davis, pull a picture of Lizzo's dress, would you? I have no idea what Lizzo was wearing.
Yeah, so she was wearing this like black corset dress with this like huge black jacket that had golden like embroidered flowers and leaves on it.
Oh, you're a flower girl. Yeah, so there you go.
You know me.
Yeah.
You know me. And she was carrying around this golden flute that she had just gotten for her birthday, actually, as a present. And it was just this incredible, like,
really
large.
like that.
Yes, thank you.
that.
So one thing that I was really looking for in the Met Gala, so the theme was like gilded fashion. So
Lizzo.
So the theme was
Lizzo.
gilded fashion. So I really wanted to see like a lot of corseted looks. I wanted to see like very kind of timepieces where you get the puffy shoulders and you get like that.
I heard
like,
people didn't pick up on that.
people did not pick up on that theme very well. And that kind of irritated me.
Yeah.
Well, it's like whatever. But I really loved Lizzo's look. I thought that like the corset dress all the way down and then like kind of having that like little piece open, then the corset continuing going. I thought that was very on theme, and I really like. I loved just like the classic black and gold. I thought it worked very well together.
Well,
so
you know Lizzo, she's the go-to.
She really is.
She's the go-to.
I love Lizzo. She's such a style icon.
Mm-hmm. Also, I said you're a flower girl, which leads me to why you're here. So you can talk about your flowers. Well, you're literally wearing a flower dress right now.
Yeah. Hey, I knew what I was coming here for.
Right, exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. So you had a really, really cool. Was it your senior project or
It was
your
my senior
art
colloquium.
Okay. Really, really cool art colloquium project. A lot of people generally go with like the paintings or drawings or sculpting or whatever. You decided to go fashion. You made it 8 dresses.
Yeah.
All based on. Well, actually, I'm gonna let you describe these because I don't want to mess it up.
That's okay.
Yeah. But all based on the same theme, and then you did a fashion show for it.
Yeah.
And we actually, Hey, wait a second. Wait until Jaime describes it. You know, we want to slow roll the listeners.
Can't see it yet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a surprise.
But yeah, then you had a really cool fashion show, which the whole school saw, and it was awesome.
That was really cool.
So describe the themes. For me.
So is it okay if I go into a little bit of background?
Go into as much detail as you can.
Sounds great. So I started fashion.
Give me more time to drink my chocolate milk.
Amazing. So I started getting into fashion design the summer going into our junior year. I did a program with Syracuse over the summer, and like this is COVID summer, so it was really weird.
Can I just say real quick, 3 out of the 5 people we've interviewed have a relation to Syracuse.
I almost went to Syracuse. Like
Did you really? Do they have a good fashion school?
They do have a fashion program at the school. It's pretty good, but you know, I loved it. I loved the school. I loved the like environment that they had. But like when I saw SCAD, I was just like, nah, this is home.
SCAD.
I was like, this is SCAD.
We're going
this
to
is
Savannah.
Yeah, so anyways, I did a course with Syracuse and it was fully online, but I kind of just like I learned how to sketch. I learned how to like actually design things. I learned how patterns worked. I learned how like the actual like form of the bot, like I learned how to manipulate a body while you're like drawing it, and then like what to draw on top of that and like the best ways to like kind of design, you know? Yeah, obviously you know.
Yeah, a lot of background.
So I started with that, and I was really into it at the time, and then I kind of like that fell through just because, you know, it was summer. I didn't really want to do anything. And we got back to school in the fall, kind of just, you know, doing my thing in my Art 2 class. And then in December, I actually designed my first dress that I made. So Rose, the pink one.
That was this year or last year?
This was last year. This is a junior year. Last December.
Okay.
So December 2020, I designed Rose, and I was like, this is actually really cool, and I love this. Like, I want to make this.
I love Rose, too. I love roses. You know that. Literally. I'm wearing a rose right now. Look at that.
So on theme.
So, yeah.
So I designed that dress. I was like, I need to do this. I need to make this dress. So that next March, so March 2021, I have my aunt and my grandmother help me. They help me find patterns. They help me find fabric. They like come with me just to like be a little bit of a support, because like nobody at the school, no art teacher at the school really does fashion design. So it was really hard for me to kind of get a footing. But they helped me like cut out the pieces, get all the materials, find what I needed. And then I started making the dress actually at the end of April of junior year for like starting our senior projects or senior colloquium. So what we do in the the Art 2 class, it's like you have a year of kind of just like actually doing projects, and then for the last month of the year, for the entirety of May and some of April, you like start working on that theme that you want to go towards for your senior year. And I didn't really know what my theme was. I just knew I wanted to do fashion design, and I knew I wanted to make this dress. So I was like, I'll figure it out afterwards. So I made the dress. It was really difficult. It took me an entire month. I was working for like 3 hours a day just making this one dress. It was really hard. And I just like, after that, I was like, I love this and I love this theme. So immediately after I finished that dress, I started sketching out each of the other dresses in the collection. I was just like looking up flowers. I wanted them to each be meaningful to me as well. So I was kind of like taking moments from my life that were important and like what flowers kind of represented that the best, and giving that meaning. So like I've got one dress that's for my art teacher actually. So Mr. Hughes, my Aurum Lily dress, the white and yellow one, that one's for him because it's so the last project that I did in art too, actually, I used those flowers because we had to like make a book cover. So that was the flower that I got, and I wanted to like make something for him, like rose dress that's supposed to represent like the end of my childhood almost, because I was a really big dancer. So at the end of every performance, you get roses. So I kind of wanted to like make each dress like a time capsule of something that happened in my life.
Okay. Are they all related to a specific moment, or is it more because one's for Mr. Hughes, one's for the fact that you used to dance?
Yeah.
So is it like moments, people?
It's kind of a combination of things. Okay. So some of them are for people. So I've got one for like my best friends. I've got one for Mr. Hughes. I have one for my mom, my aunt, my grandmother. And then some are just for moments and kind of like things that helped me through actually making the project. So the crocus dress, the yellow and the purple one, that one's kind of, so the meaning behind crocus is that it's kind of like a flower that's supposed to represent like moving on and like growing. So growing, obviously. But
flowers do that sometimes.
Yeah. So I mean, like right now is like
double
a
entendre.
Yeah. Just like I wanted to make that as like kind of a representation of like graduating high school, you know, and just like moving on and like finally taking those next steps. So I thought that was a really good way to like capture that. The water dress is kind of like it's supposed to be like a helpful reminder of like how.
Actually, yeah, Davis, put the pictures up. Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, here. Awesome. Actually, pull them up on your phone so I can see them too.
Yeah, I can show them.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, we should put the picture up, and you were thinking exactly the same thing. We should put the picture up.
That was smart.
Okay. The flower dress.
Okay.
You're on your game. You're on the game.
I'll just put up the picture of all of them because that's what he has there.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is all of the dresses.
You want me to? I also have the one with Alex
and I'll tell the story about Alex.
We're gonna do the Alex one.
We'll do that later.
Tell me when you want each picture.
Yeah. Okay. So that one. So that's the picture of all the dresses.
Okay, so water's far left.
Water is far left.
Okay.
So that dress was supposed to represent kind of like a little bit of extra help because, like, I mean, flowers need water to grow. So I wanted to have that as like a kind of reminder that like even if things are hard, there's always going to be something there to help. Like I'm always going to be able to get through it, and water can either be really rough or really calm. So if you see still water, it's kind of like nothing's really happening. But if it's like rough, something's interrupting it, something's like making it that way. So I wanted to kind of represent that as even if I'm going through a hard time, there will always be a time where I'll be calm. There will always be a time where there's not as many stressors, you know?
100%. Yeah. And then, so I do have to ask, so you made the first one, you said it took you a month of just cutting.
Took me a month of cutting and
sewing and
sitting in the art room and just being like, shh, every single day.
So what in your crazy mind made you decide you're going to make 7 more of them?
I really didn't. I don't know why. I was kind of just like, I feel like 8 is the perfect number. I designed them.
8 is a nice number.
And I loved each of these designs, and I really couldn't let go of any of them, because they were all so important to me for one reason or another, you know? Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm going to take on the challenge. I'm going to budget my time really well. And I ended up spending like 3 to 5 hours in the art room every single day. Each dress after Rose took me about 2.5 weeks, if not less.
Okay.
Crocus, I actually had to start over. So that one I spent 3 weeks on it, was like, I can't do this anymore. I just like fully gave up. I was like, I need to move on. I started making Sweet Pea, which is the pink and green one, and then made Aurum Lily. And after making those 2, I felt very confident, and I went back to Crocus. And that actually helped me a lot in the process, because I learned making Sweet Pea, I learned how to make Crocus. So that like skirt, I had to just like the way I made it, that helped me like progress further in the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then what is the this one here, the purple and blue one?
That one's Bluebell.
Bluebell.
Yeah. So that one's actually for my best friend. So one of the first dances we ever did together. So we danced together. We were in the Nutcracker for, I want to say, like,
Oh, I've seen that
a bajillion
one
years.
too many times. Yeah.
Yeah, we all have. But we were, the first thing that we did together, like when we were really, really close friends, was Bluebell, because the year before we were all literally we were all separated. We were all different like roles in the Nutcracker. So I made that kind of as a reminder of like where we all came from, where we all started, because like they've been such a important part of my life throughout like just growing up, and like they've just always been there for me. So I really wanted to make something for them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I know exactly what you're saying with the separation thing. You know, my best friends all go to different schools.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
So it's I totally see where you're coming from, and it's awesome you made a dress for her around it.
Yeah.
All right, tell me, what made you decide dresses when you were doing your art colloquium thing specifically? I know you love fashion. I know as long as I've known you, you love fashion. What started that specifically?
I'm not sure actually. I mean,
here?
I kind of just started sketching, and it happened. Like I was taking inspiration from each of the flowers, so I literally had a picture of the flower next to me as I was like, I was sitting in my bed like all of June. Once I got back, like once we finished the school year, and I was just like sketching. I had whole thing of colored pencils right next to me, and I've got my sketchbook, and I've got my computer, and I've got the picture up, and I'm just like taking inspiration from that. So like marigold, it's a very like fluffy, like really big flower. So I wanted to kind of translate that into the skirt. So I was like, oh, I'm going to put tulle under the skirt, and I'm going to make it
different
kind of
characteristics.
Exactly. I wanted to
flowers.
take different aspects of the flower and kind of translate that into each of the dresses.
Okay. How did you decide though, like before high school even, I want to be a fashion designer?
Well, I actually didn't know before high
you
school.
didn't know?
So,
when did you decide?
So it was actually because of the Syracuse summer program. So
Okay.
I always knew I loved art. I've literally loved art since I was like little. I've got pictures of me like standing in front of like little wooden sculptures being like, and it's just this,
smiling.
I'm just standing there
Look
like
at this
so
piece of
proud
wood,
of myself.
dude.
Oh my
This is
god, look at this
awesome.
thing that I painted with glitter and hot pink paint.
I will say though, there are some awesome wood carving designs. I went over break. I went to visit my sister in Austria. I think I told you this.
Yeah, you did.
For her study abroad program, and we went to this small town. This is actually not in Austria. This is in Munich, in Germany.
Yeah.
We went to this small town, and there were like half a dozen different woodcutting stores with hundreds of tiny like engravings.
Yeah.
And it was, first off, these stores are crowded. They like put everything on display, so you're like watching your step. But at the same time, it's like look incredibly complicated and look like they're really cool.
Yeah.
I would say if I had to do art, then I'd do that, but I don't have the patience for it. So
No, that does take a really long time.
is Alex coming in?
Yeah, you want
Alex, come on in. You know what? You know what we can do right now?
We should put up
we
the
can
picture
address
of
the picture of
Alex.
Alex.
you have a photo of me?
We do have a photo
You know
of
exactly
you, yeah.
what, come on, you know exactly what picture it is.
Oh, here we go.
You can walk. Yeah, I don't care. They don't need to see me. That picture.
You're on this camera.
You get the main camera, the big camera.
Go
No, you're good right now, actually.
kneel down like right there.
Cool.
If you're on this camera.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Alex.
It's nice to see you again on the podcast.
Okay, so you use this guy as your model.
I did. So, at the time that I was making my first dresses.
Wait, sorry. Why'd you agree to this?
When I was making my movie, I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Valid.
And he was a body, and I needed a body.
He's a body. I mean, you asked me to do. I didn't do it. Although I would say
I was a little
did
hurt.
say I would be happy to do the fashion show if you made me a sick suit.
Well, I don't know how to make suits yet. I'm
Oh,
working on
well.
it. I'm working on it. Okay.
Is that on the agenda?
It is on the agenda.
Mhm.
It is at some point. We'll get there.
Some
No,
point.
you're not in the way. I just want like back to kneeling down.
It's fine. I'll stand over here. So
Okay.
I can
Yeah,
still
cool.
talk, but-
You can
Okay.
just like
You
be
don't
in my
want your
camera.
Slightly off camera. No.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm already on the screen.
Okay, but yeah, you used Alex.
You can just stand over me if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
So you used Alex because he was free.
Yeah. So I actually,
Yeah.
so I had designed each of these dresses for one of my friends to wear because I was like,
Okay.
for this process, if I'm just making them like with any random like pattern
It's
and
gonna
any random
be-
size, it's gonna
right.
be really annoying if I
Mhm.
want to do a fashion show at the end of the year. So I already knew I wanted to do a fashion show, so I needed models. And Alex just happened to be in the room when I was making each of these, so I was like, okay, do you want to put this on and see if it fits?
It all
Right.
fit.
They all-
It did fit.
they all
It did
fit.
fit. It was really fun.
The shoes as well.
Yeah.
You tried the shoes
tried
on?
the shoes on. I have videos of him trying on the shoes.
Oh, I forgot
he was
to
strutting
ask.
around
Did
the
you
school.
have specific shoes for each dress?
I did.
Okay.
After I had finished making all the dresses. Actually, I wasn't even done making all the dresses, but I had to order the shoes far enough in advance for the fashion show so that they would get here,
Come in
that
time,
they would
yep.
fit everyone. I had to like ask shoe size. Took so much planning. I basically was planning this from the second I walked into school this year. Like
right.
I
I'm well aware because you disappeared.
Yeah.
For months at a time, you disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like any second that I was at school and wasn't actively in an academic class, so physics or English, I was in the art room.
Right.
I was always there. Like I was working on this from like the second I stepped in until the second I left, and I would not leave early, and I would take breaks every once in a while. And at some point, I recognized like, okay, this is not sustainable. I can't be in the art room every single second of every day, so I kind of had to like force myself to just take a step back.
Right.
And in doing that, I actually like it helped me, and I was actually able to make them faster because
you'd take a step back. Alex had to take a step up because he was slacking, right, Alex?
Yeah.
yeah.
We already talked about that.
Give us another way on the camera.
No. Okay, there you go. There you go. There's just going to be, I feel in every single one of our podcasts, there's going to be a segment of just stupidity for a couple of minutes.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I like the Hill one with the like Davis's questions.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I like
mhm.
that.
All the questions. I did. I listened to the entire thing and part 2.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I have not been able to listen to Rahil's podcast.
Oh, that's so
I'm sorry.
unfortunate.
I meant to watch it last night, but I was tired, so I went to bed.
Oh, that's usually how sleep works.
I
It
know,
really,
right?
Really sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
Whenever you want.
So actually, Alex, so you were saying this. You three all went on the. I'm going back to the Met trip.
Oh,
the
we're
Met
going back
trip.
to the Met trip. Okay.
Well, I'm not gonna ask about your favorites because
Do you want the other picture?
which
You
one?
can just take the picture down. It's
Oh, actually, yeah. Let's talk about the fashion show a little bit. I want to talk
Okay,
about
we're talking about the fashion
a
show
little
now.
bit. Okay, so with the fashion show, it took a lot of planning. I'm well
so
aware of
much
that.
planning. Oh my
It took
gosh.
a lot of planning. Were you on a? Did you budget your time towards the end, like someone else in the room, or were you like pretty good to go by the time it came around?
I was pretty good to go. I was good to go by the time it came around. So I had originally planned it out that like I was literally gonna finish all of my dresses like right before the show, but I ended up like again spending so much time in the art room that I finished them a lot earlier than I had planned, which ended up working better for me. So I finished all of the outfits before March break. So for all of March break, I was planning what I need to do, when I need to do it, and when I needed to have it done by. So I had to have models for each of the dresses, and it ended up like, so one of my models had COVID, and then like some people wouldn't be in, and then some people couldn't do rehearsals sometimes because I had to like walk through how people were gonna walk down the down the stairs in the pack, and where they were gonna go on the stage.
Model
and, like,
walking's hard.
Exactly.
I can't even tell
And
you.
they had to practice walking in the heels because like some of my friends were just like really nervous to walk downstairs in heels. So we had to like practice all of that stuff. I had to make sure I could get the confetti cannon to work.
I forgot about the confetti cannon.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was really stressful to work out actually because so Mr. Silence wasn't in the week of the show. And like literally that day, I got in early. I was so stressed. I was like, I'm gonna get to school early. If I can find him, that would be like the best thing to ever happen. But I probably won't. So I walk into the pack. I'm getting ready. I'm bringing everything in there, and then I see Silence, and he's like, "Oh yeah, let me help you do this thing." And like I'd been waiting all week to find him, and it was just this like amazing miracle. Just like wow, the one person
Everything
I needed.
came together.
Everything, because
where
that was
we
the one
needed
thing I was stressed about. Like,
okay, bye, Alex. It's been fun.
bye,
Okay.
Alex. Yeah, so I like everything was planned out. Like I had makeup, I'd gotten food for everyone, I gotten like coffees for people that wanted it, and I just like I'd planned this whole
The
thing.
necessities.
Obviously. And then like the last thing I needed was Silence to be there so he could help me set up the confetti cannon. That like, and I need somebody to work it as well because like I was kind of
Right,
presenting.
you're a little busy.
I was a little
Yeah.
busy. So he was there, and I was just like, this is probably the best thing to happen today.
Yeah, we have a picture on the screen right now.
So that's actually
Those are
after
really
the confetti.
cool.
It's a really cool.
Really
picture.
cool picture
It's
and
really cool picture.
presentation.
Yeah.
That was a really cool presentation.
It was really
It was
fun.
pretty flawless too.
Yeah,
There were no
practiced
hiccups.
That. I practiced that so many times. I had one hiccup. There's one hiccup when I was like, "Ooh, sorry."
What was
but
that?
I just went like, "Ooh, sorry."
When?
I don't remember.
I don't remember that at all.
I remember it happened, and I was like so nervous because I was just like stuttering over myself every once in a while. But I had practiced that thing so many times. I had my presentation done before March break as well. So, and everyone else was finishing theirs like the day before the colloquium. But I was like so ready. I was so nervous that like being ahead helped me actually like do better. because like I just had more time to practice. I had
Crazy
more
how that works,
wow,
right?
it's so crazy.
It's
I
actually
know.
there's something to be said about that though. There's something to be said about the dedication that you showed in this because,
Yeah.
for example, I can't convince myself to do homework on a daily basis.
Me neither.
But you were at school all day, every day,
Yeah.
making these dresses, which is a pretty crazy feat. Like, to be fair, if any college students are watching this, they'll be like, yeah, obviously, it's like what you have to do.
Yeah.
But we're not college students. We're not very high school students are not very good at budgeting their time.
Yeah, no.
So that was a pretty impressive in and of itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so like I mean, it was really hard to actually like learn how to budget my time because I mean, last year was really weird because we had like those split schedules, so I never had more than like 2 assignments a night. And sometimes they'd be longer, like, you know, the AP Chem stuff that we were doing, like that would take hours every single night. But then like for this it was so much easier because I was actually passionate about it, and I think like that's the difference between like doing homework and doing something you actually like. It's that like you actually have the motivation to do it, like you want to get it done. And I was so like just engulfed in this project that like the only thing I wanted to do was show people, and like actually learning that like the whole school was gonna be there for the colloquium was like one of the most like amazing moments. I was just like, wow, like everyone gets to see this.
That was the first assembly with everybody there, I think.
Yeah. That was first assembly back from COVID with everyone there, and it was just like so cool to see all of those faces in the audience being like right next to each other. Like, wow, this is so cool.
Right.
And then like
definitely pretty crazy.
yeah, and then like actually having like everyone walk down, like just the whole process of the colloquium was so amazing.
Right.
It was like a surreal moment for me. Like I got home and I literally was like crying. I was like, guys, that was the best day ever.
So crazy. So I should ask. So you're on SCAD. You've already said that.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? Well, actually, I'll ask about what's the plan when you get there. You have any big projects plans?
Well, it's
Something like this.
so it's a little bit weird. So when you get so it's an art school. So when I get there, I have to take foundation classes. So I'll be taking like beginning drawing classes, animation classes, like computer drawing. I'll be doing stuff like that, you know, like learning the basis of like what SCAD does
Along
for
with
their
like
programs.
normal math, English, science class like that, or do you not have any of those?
We have a few classes. So everything that we
Ooh.
do is like art based. So
Okay.
if I'm doing history, it's going to be like art history. I'm not going to have to take science. I'll probably have to take math. I don't actually know about math, but and then like English, it'll be art related, you know?
Okay.
So everything that we're doing is based in the arts, which actually makes it a lot easier for me because I'm actually interested in this stuff. So like when me and Davis were doing global art history homework, it was annoying, but I was actually interested in it. So I would actually I would do a good job.
As you were saying, it's easy to motivate yourself when you're into it.
Exactly.
Dude, you can walk across. The camera's not even on in the middle right now. Alex is back for the
For those
crawled
of you
like
who
a worm
couldn't hear.
across the floor. So pretty much get rid of the, I don't know how to put this, lame classes for you. You get to do
I kind of just get to start doing what I want to do. I mean, I don't like at first get to start taking fashion classes right away. What are you doing?
He's having fun.
Okay.
Lurking back there.
Yeah.
He's enjoying himself.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Nice job. So yeah, I start taking just like those basic classes, but the further I get into like my academic career at SCAD, I'll be able to take more specific classes. So like my junior and senior year at SCAD, I'll be able to take like actual fashion classes, and, like be able to like keep advancing in that program. So you focus more in on your minor as you keep going throughout like the program. And we also work on a quarter system. So we do 10 weeks of class, and then I come back in like November and I'm here until January.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and then I go back January and there until March, have a week, and then I'm there from March until May. So we have like a lot, we don't have a lot more time, but we have a lot more like, we have the ability to take more classes in a shorter span or in the same amount of time because they're only 10 weeks.
Right.
You know?
Right. And that's to someone like me who's not going to an art college, it seems a little crazy that you don't have to take all those foundation classes, but it actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it. You know what you're there for. You're on a mission.
I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to be a designer. I'm on a mission to be famous. You know.
Oh, be famous.
Make that bang.
You hear that?
I'm on a mission to get one of my dresses at the Met Gala.
That's the goal.
Mission. That's the goal. Sometime in life.
Okay. You're designing
That's
Blake
what I
Lively.
want.
You're designing Blake Lively's next dress.
Of course I am.
Of course.
Next year.
But
You'll
to
see me
like
there.
to someone, so to me, it's a little crazy that you don't do the foundation classes.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense though.
It
It's a little
does.
bit less like a what is it? They have trade schools type thing.
Yeah.
Not around here. Not
No,
really in America. It's
I
not a
know,
thing.
I know.
In places in Europe and stuff, they have
Yeah.
trade schools, which Literally, you dedicate yourself to whatever it is you know you're going to be doing.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, I personally think is awesome. I think that you can cut out all the crap and just do what you want to do.
Exactly. Like,
which is
why am
really
I going to
nice.
take a science class if I'm not interested in science? Like, I don't like biology. I suck at biology. I don't want to take that, but I want to take classes that are, like, specific to what I want to do. Like, I know I want to be a designer, and, like, it would be incredible if I could just jump in and start taking fashion classes, but, like, I do still have to go through that, like, starting out college process. It's just, like, different than what you're normally used to. So, like, you're going to be
the same
taking...
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. It's just, like, more specific to what I actually want to go into.
It's giving you the opportunity to try other things.
Exactly.
Which I think is still vital.
It is.
Like, for example, maybe you get to freshman year, you accidentally stab yourself with a needle, and suddenly you can never pick up a needle again
because I
you
just
hate
cut
needles.
off my hand with a
No, I'm not
needle.
even thinking that. You're scared of needles now.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm scared.
So then all of a sudden, did it turn off? What just happened?
What? Is it
Don't
still
tell
going?
Me. Is it going? Maybe? Check it up. Okay, we'll keep talking as if it's still going.
Cool.
What was I saying? I've no recollection of what I was just saying.
Me neither.
A bit of an attack right there.
Trying different things.
Right.
Right.
Trying different things. So say you just realize dress makes... We're still going.
Yes,
Crazy.
let's go.
Yeah, we're still going.
Nice.
I don't even know how this works. Give me that. But like, say, for example, as I'm saying this for the third time, say you're just like not interested in dressmaking anymore.
Yeah.
It is important to try different things.
Exactly.
Obviously, it probably won't happen. You seem pretty into it.
I do.
I do.
I am.
But it is good to try a couple of different things.
Exactly. And actually, one thing that I did for what I'm doing for my senior project, I'm actually making a series of like self-portraits of like my process through making the dresses, because like there was just so much emotion in making these dresses because they were all so meaningful to me, and just like having to have a setbacks and like trying new things and just like having them fail and having to restart and having to do all these different like really hard things that I didn't know how to do originally. It was just like really hard for me, so I wanted to make self-portraits of that. So what I'm doing for that is I'm actually...
We're still going.
It went the whole time when I was
Nice.
So weird. Okay,
Nice.
fine. You know what? Just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm actually making self-portraits with the scrap fabric, so I can kind of like cut down waste, you know, and I'm also
Loves
like,
the environment. I like it.
science fair too, you know.
Yep.
So I'm using scrap fabric from that, and I'm also painting on top of that as well, because I kind of wanted to step out of my comfort zone, do something I'm making abstract self-portraits too. It's not just self-portraits. It's like kind of like what my head looked like what my brain was engulfed in each of these moments, like making these dresses.
So abstract self-portraits. Describe that a little more. I'm trying to figure out if I love or hate that.
I'll show you a picture of it, because I actually do have a picture
you already
of
have
what
one
I've
going.
done so
Okay.
far. Let me find it.
We'll
though.
hold it up to the camera because we don't have this
We
one
can.
already prepared, so we'll just hold it up.
One sec. I
Alex,
have to
this is
find
where you come in. You're going to hold the camera up to the camera.
Woo. Right here.
I'm going to take a look at it, and then we'll do it. Okay. Let's see.
I'll turn it. Here you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like with each of those, that's kind of like what was going on in my brain. It was like kind of each of these specific moments that like captured what was happening while making these dresses. Yeah, that's what
There
I've got.
it is.
That's what I've got going on right now.
Oh,
And I
there
have
it
a
is.
Snapchat.
You have Snapchat too? Okay.
Nice job. You're doing a
the
great job.
camera, Alex. Hold it up to the camera.
I can
Okay,
just
anyway.
go back now.
Yeah, I like that actually. That looks
Yeah.
really cool. Especially the big one on the right. That one looked really cool.
Yeah, that's the water one. So
Right,
each of the self-portraits is like
Dress to portrait.
dress to portrait.
Right.
Exactly. So
Okay.
it's like one dress is for a portrait, and it's like, oh, if I was kind of like going through a really hard time, so like the water one, you kind of see like you have that like white. I'll bring it back up.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So like.
I
Whoa.
wasn't done looking at it. All right,
Yeah. So like you see all that black around the edges. So.
The live stream's still going. Okay.
Hey.
I'm just
So I kind of started to have like a really, really hard time this
Yeah.
winter. I kind of was just like, it was really difficult for me. So
13
I kind
hours in a art room will do
Yeah.
that to you. Yeah.
and that dress was so hard. I had like it
The
took
water one?
so much work, and it was so detailed, and I had to put like individual gems on specific parts. So it was just like it took so much time, so much effort, and I just kind of like got so engulfed in it that I just didn't leave the art room. Like I didn't want to go to classes, I didn't want to go to anything, I didn't want to do any. I just wanted to work on this dress because.
Right.
So that kind of ended up being really bad for me. So you kind of see like the black coming in around the edges for that one. So it's kind of supposed to represent like
Right.
how hard it was for me at that time. And
That's like a good addiction to have, I'd argue. I mean, not probably unhealthy to be spending that much time not in the sunlight, but
yeah.
so how you have to tell me how many hours did this dress take?
That dress?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Was
I
that
know,
your most difficult one?
I don't even know if that was the most difficult one. I mean, each of them came with new challenges. I think that one was the most technically difficult because I had to do so much layering, so much like piecing together. The patterns that I had were too small and I just had to adjust a lot of things. So it did take a lot of time to actually figure out how to piece it all together. And I was kind of just winging it as I went.
Okay.
So that was really hard.
Here, Davis, hold this yellow one up to the camera real quick.
Ooh, that one's fun. I love it.
Because
That's actually my
I'm interested
favorite.
in that because you mentioned that the black, there it is. Okay, that the darkness in your other one was indicating your mindset.
Yeah.
Same kind of deal here. Is that what that? Because it's in a much smaller area.
Yeah, exactly.
time.
So kind of what I wanted to go at was so through this process as I was working, I kind of got more engulfed in it, but then and actually with the one that I literally just made one today. It's sitting in the art room
Oh,
on
one
a
of those?
shelf. Yeah.
Okay.
It's for the marigold dress, the yellow and orange one. So that one, it actually got put in the Katona Museum. So they had a senior art show and Alex's movie wasn't in there. I don't think. Was it? No, because he didn't have anything done then. No. So
yeah,
other
yeah.
seniors.
Oh, it's
now
done. It's done now, and you'll be back on later to talk about it
Yeah.
again. So that's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
that's in an art exhibit.
So
now.
it was.
Oh, it was okay.
It was there for a month or something, maybe
Okay.
a few weeks. But I my family went up to go see it. I had my grandparents come, and I went into one room and it wasn't in there, and I was like, oh, this art is so cool. That's so cool that these are seniors. And I walk into the next room and I see my dress, and I literally I started tearing up, and I couldn't handle it. I was so upset. I thought it looked so bad. I was really just I was angry that I had put so much
really?
time into this thing, and I just I hated it, and seeing it just made me so angry. I was there were other fashion things in there as well, so I was am I competing with this? Am I at the same level as them? And I was really I just got into this really bad place where I was comparing myself to other people when in reality I was kind of doing something very different. I wanted to take dresses and make them into flowers and make them into this very specific thing that I had pictured in my mind when everyone else was kind of picturing something else. They were doing something for another theme.
Right.
So I ended up having to learn how to not compare myself to others, and now that's actually one of my favorite dresses in the collection.
Well, you shouldn't compare yourself to others, especially not high school students. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So you said they're doing different themes than you, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I have to ask, was it all right, first off, was it other schools too?
Other schools. It was
Okay.
other schools from all around Fairfield County, some in New
Okay.
York, some there were people from Fox Lane, GFA.
Okay.
I assume just any school around here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. That's actually really cool. I
It was
didn't even
really
know
cool.
about that. I didn't even
It
know
was
about
really interesting to see what everyone else was doing.
that. Right.
And a bunch of other people at King also had work in there, and just seeing their work in a museum was also really cool because it's wow, I've watched them do this and now it's on display. It's
Right.
but I think it's different watching someone else do it rather than yourself, because it's they're
It's not your experience.
Yeah, it's
you
not.
know?
It's you see them put all the time and effort into it, and I spent a lot of time with the other advanced art class as well, just because that was during my free period, so I would go in there and do work a lot, and
Right.
you were in that free period, so I wasn't there a lot of the time.
Right. Yeah.
But I spent a lot of time with them and watched them go through each of these projects, and I thought it was really cool. Wow, they put so much work and effort into this, and it's here, and it looks so incredible.
Right.
But then when it came to my work, it was I put all this work and time and effort into it, and is anybody really gonna see that?
I mean, you have to remember if you're thinking that, everybody else is too.
I know, but it kind of it's
We're
a different
always
mindset
way
for
too
yourself.
hard on
yeah,
ourselves.
exactly.
That,
So
that I can say.
I was very
Davis
hard
and I,
on myself.
for example, Davis and I look back on our podcast. We're like, ugh, we could have done this better.
No.
No, we're perfect.
I always feel like I did the best job I could ever.
You're doing a great job, Davis.
I do the best job, and that's
You do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
compared to other
important.
podcasts out there.
Exactly, especially compared to other podcasts out there.
I want everyone else on the other podcasts to know I have been watching all the podcasts.
Have
I
you?
watched your podcast. I watched Alex's and Kenny's.
You watched all of them?
Yeah.
All the ones
I watched the single. I watched all the single
Okay.
podcasts too.
I think a new episode tomorrow.
Yeah, new
Wow.
episode today.
No,
No, they posted it yesterday that it was gonna be today. I think.
Well,
I
it doesn't
mean, I
even
don't-
matter because
doesn't
our
matter.
podcast is better anyway.
Our podcast, this podcast is better because I'm on here.
Tell him, Davis.
And Davis is here, so
Exactly.
that just makes
Exactly.
it better. But I've been watching all the podcasts, and I think it's
no, there's a new one today. As of 45 minutes ago.
Wow.
wow.
I'm gonna watch that when I get home.
Yeah.
Are you?
I'll
You
watch
know what?
yours
You
and
gonna
I'll
watch this one when you get home too?
You
I mean, you
better.
were in this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You don't watch yourself.
It's not a competition.
Worship to
It's not a
Come on.
competition. I promise. Not directly, at least. It's an indirect
Are you sure?
competition. It's a little
No,
bit
that's
of a
what I thought.
competition.
It's a little bit of competition.
You know.
But I've been watching all the podcasts, and I think like it's really cool to see how everyone else is doing them differently. Because like yours is very like it's very conversation style, and we're just like sitting here talking, like speaking to the microphone. It's very like civilized.
Right.
But then like Cinco Compadres, like what's kind of funny about it is they're kind of just all sitting there like
They're
screaming at each other the
screaming
entire
at each other.
time.
I mean, I've only watched a few minutes of the first one. It seemed chaotic. It seemed like it could be entertaining. I have no idea.
It was entertaining.
Was it?
It really
Okay.
is.
Maybe
Just
I'll give
'cause,
it a
like,
listen.
I mean, they also start talking about like drama at school sometimes, so like that's
We're
kinda
giving Cinco Compadres too much airtime right
We
now.
are.
need to-
I'll stop talking. I'll
we need to
stop.
stop
I'll
talking about these
stop.
guys.
I'll stop. Give me another topic.
But I
Give me
really
something.
do like I love the whole senior project
Yeah.
idea. I have to say I'm very grateful we don't have to do internships.
Oh, me too.
I mean,
I mean,
I
that
would be
really
fine
cool.
with it. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm enjoying doing this way more than I probably
I'm
would have
enjoying
enjoyed
being
doing
on your
that too.
podcast.
Oh,
I've
thanks,
been
Jamie.
enjoying watching them.
Thank
like
you,
it's really
Jamie.
cool. It's really cool to see like
I really
doing
like that
this.
everyone can pick what they want to do,
Mhm.
and they get to spend an entire month doing
Yeah.
it. Which, to be fair, it's like a small reward for spending 12 years in the education system. But at the same time,
14 years at King's
Oh,
School,
excuse
and I
me.
finally get to choose what I want to do for
exactly. I mean, but I mean, we've definitely been having a great time with it. I know Alex has been having a great time eating food.
I actually have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like every day.
yeah,
sure.
literally. I'm well aware.
I'm a little jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
Every single day. I really love the fact that we get to pick and choose what
Yeah.
we want to do, though.
And I
And I
think.
think
No,
sorry,
no,
I
you
was just
go,
gonna
you
say
go.
that really. I think that kind of, to a lesser extent, because you were putting hours and hours in every day,
Yeah.
and obviously some people aren't doing that. Like I think
Mhm.
Jack's getting ice cream every day,
Nice.
which is a good project.
That's kind of good.
I think so.
That's kind of good. I should have done
Something like that.
I'm getting food every day.
He's getting ice cream. I have no idea, but it does give us a chance to dedicate ourselves to something we enjoy,
Exactly.
which is exactly what you were doing. You're
Yeah.
still doing it now,
hmm
which is really important. You've been doing this.
I've been
except
doing this
for-
since September.
along
right
with
now.
everything else you had to do
Yeah.
for 12 months.
I mean, like if you really like add up the timeline, I've been working on like everything that I'm doing now for a year. I've been working
Yeah.
on it since the end of
Mhm.
April of last year.
the only
um,
difference is now is you don't have to go to English class. So,
Exactly.
like,
So, oh my god, where was my train of thought? Oh, right. So my senior project. So I like since I had put so much time and effort into it, and I literally was spending hours in the art room, I wanted to do something that was more like freeing. So
right.
I wanted to do something like abstract that I didn't really have to have like a specific shape to it. I could kind of just like go through my brain, like kind of go back into like that mindset of where I was and like re-feel those feelings and put
Right.
that on a canvas, which I found really really cool and really therapeutic actually.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Yes.
it's a therapeutic's a great word for it. We all have our therapy. Mine's talking apparently because I'm having a good time doing this.
I love this. This is fun.
Alex's is playing video games
And eating
Elden
food
Ring is
apparently.
so good.
and eating Elden. Yeah. Okay. The moment we get sponsored by Elden Ring, we'll talk about them again.
Mhm.
But anyway, no. And that's I think exactly what the senior project is about. It's about finding your therapy.
Yeah.
And it's about doing it for a mandatory 4 hours a day.
Yes.
I've been having a great time with it.
Yeah.
Davis, have you been having a good time with it?
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
See that?
I also think it's really fun for us because like you get to hone in on like what you want to do. But then like
Mhm.
yesterday we were at the beach like all afternoon, and I think that's so fun because like we kind of get to, especially with COVID, like there were so many times where we like would want to do stuff that we weren't able to do,
Right.
and then like coming back now, like it's like wow, like we actually get to like experience all these things. We finally get to like enjoy the end of senior year, like a lot of people didn't get to do, and like it's
To leave a good taste in our mouth for the King School. And be
Mhm.
like, oh, King was great.
King was great.
All 4
I
years
got-
of it.
It's
No,
like
I've enjoyed
every
King so
single-
far.
No,
In all
I have to.
seriousness.
I have to. I mean,
Mm.
I've literally been here since I was like 4 years old.
Mhm.
So it's like I've literally grown up with this campus. I've grown up with this community around us. So I think it's been really interesting to like see what other people did. And actually, oh my god, this is kind of funny. So the first time I saw the art colloquium, I was in I think 7th grade,
Okay.
maybe 8th grade. And we were touring the high school because it was 8th grade. So we were touring the high school. It was like that day where you like do a shadow, you kind of see what the high school is like. And I got to go to the art colloquium, and that was probably one of the pivotal moments that I knew that I needed to do art in high school.
Oh, okay.
Because I
Okay.
like again, I've always loved art, but like seeing people actually be passionate about it and present it and be so like excited to show people their work, and seeing the pack every single year after that,
Mm.
and just like understanding what was happening around me was so cool. And actually, I got to meet one of the artists that she graduated in 2017. Her name's Tiani Brito.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was the last person to do fashion design at King, and I was in 7th grade when she graduated. And I remember seeing it in the pack and like seeing all these pictures, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. But I didn't know that I wanted to do fashion then.
Right.
So it was like, it was weird that, I don't know, it's been really cool like seeing how the art program at King has grown and like how I've kind of like grown with that.
That's
so
changed. I mean, all it takes
Yeah.
is one person to be interested into it.
Exactly.
And it really, like we
Yeah.
were talking yesterday, or it was Tuesday, with Rahil,
mhm.
huge sports broadcast
Yeah.
fan, which is a pretty rare thing.
Yeah.
Very similar art fashion design.
Mhm.
And he came in and pretty much helped to revamp their system just because he was
Yeah.
super interested in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So all it really takes is one person. Like in a school setting, it's most obvious. It's
Mhm.
actually really a good place to look at it.
It really
all it
is.
takes is one student to
yeah.
totally revamp everything. And that's also similar with, you know what, we were talking to Kenny about this a few days ago too. Like with the sports team too. All it
Yeah.
takes is one or two really dedicated kids to totally change the current situation of a team.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
Uh,
like that stands true for a lot of the art programs actually. So they didn't they have a fashion design class now, and I'm actually helping teach it, and I was right there before this.
Right.
And it like that only started last year. Like that was spring semester last year was the first time it ever ran. And now like I was talking to Miss Lapola earlier, and she was saying like how they're trying to do more, and like I bought mannequins for my presentation, and they're going to be able to use those, and like they're just gaining all of these resources and materials, and they have students that are really interested, and there are a lot of freshmen that actually are interested in fashion design that like I've been able to kind of help and like talk to, and just like, and I hope that like them seeing a senior be really passionate about that is
Oh,
helpful for them, because
I mean, we're very privileged to be in a situation where our school can pretty much help us get to wherever we need or want to
Mhm.
be. So really all it does take is someone who wants to get there
Yeah.
type thing. So
Yeah.
clearly, thank you, Alex, for the thumbs up. So clearly you've been that person for the art program. I think Alex has been one of those people for the film program.
Yeah.
Rahil for the sports program.
Mhm.
Sports broadcasting program.
yeah.
Man, our class is awesome. Look at us. Look at us. But yeah, really, all it takes is someone that's really dedicated to
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And I think clearly you've been pretty dedicated to it.
Yeah. And I mean, just being able to like say like I started this here, and like being able to show where I came from and show where I'm going, hopefully in the future. Just like to see that like I did this my senior year, and then hopefully like my senior year at SCAD, I hope I'm still there. I love it. But like showing a senior collection, it's like, wow, like the amount of growth that I've had. And I hope that like other like freshmen can kind of take that as like inspiration, like look where she started and look where she is now,
Right.
and like take that to heart and like really just use that as they go through like either the art program here or like any other student doing any other
Right.
thing, like kind of just reaching out to those people that can be helpful and that like are really passionate about what they want to do as well, and like learning from them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so now you have to become really successful to prove a point.
Duh.
Is what I'm hearing.
That's exactly what the point is.
Right. And that being said, I guess we'll go back to Davis. Tell me how much time we have left, by the way.
We are 53 minutes.
So we have like 7 minutes left. Okay.
Sounds
So
good.
we have a little
Yeah,
bit of
we got
time
a little
here.
bit of time.
So I want to go back a little bit. You said you want to dress in the Met Gala. Tell me about the
my
goals. Tell me
gosh.
about the goals. What do you want to accomplish in the last 7 minutes we have here?
In the last 7 minutes
Yeah.
we have,
Mhm.
talk about all my goals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Flush them out.
Well, I've actually been, so Mr. Hughes, my art teacher, like that, my actual art teacher, he got me through Art 2 and Art 3, and he's been like one of my biggest supporters throughout this entire thing,
Okay.
if not the biggest.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. So
I've never had a
he-
class. I've never, like before this year, never talked to this guy. Alex giving you a thumbs up again.
Yeah.
Never talked to this guy. And somehow he knows who I am, but he's so nice. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
really, really great. So he has helped me get in touch with like a few people. So he gave me someone's number that like actually used to work at FIT, does a lot of work with New York Fashion Week. So like I've been able to like build that connection, and like hopefully I'll like be able to get lunch with her, like learn more about what she's doing and like the nonprofit that she works for, so that I can like get involved with that. So I mean, most of what my goals and like aspirations are like building these connections and continuing to build them, so that I can like
All about connections.
exactly no
In,
like
in
it
any
really
industry,
is. It really is.
all about connections.
And
I
like
don't know if you, real quick, I don't know if you remember, remember Career Day.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had, You're giving me a smile right now. We had
Was it the G? Are you?
it was the G
Untitled
Fuel guy. I
Fuel?
was going to mention the G Fuel guy. He mentioned afterwards. I went up to him afterwards, just talked to him a little bit, asked him a couple questions, and I do specifically remember him saying it's all about connections because that will help you jump from place to place and get you eventually to where you want to be.
Well, it really does. Yeah.
Because
So-
now it's less and less about like stay in one place and you'll move up a ladder. It's more about if you know the right people, then you can
And-
expedite that process a little bit.
A little bit.
But
You still
yeah,
have to
tell
like
me-
earn your place. There.
Right, you still have to
Yeah.
earn you have to be good at it. It's not like well, that's not true. If you're in a
You-
good enough position,
You
then you
gotta be
get
good at it.
anywhere.
You still
But
gotta be good at it. But-
it's if you're good at it and you know the right people, then you can get anywhere. But tell me about this Fashion Week lady.
Well, so I literally texted her yesterday, and like
Oh, crazy.
I'm hopefully gonna see her soon. But then like my dad, his childhood best friend, is like, I think he's the like American head of LVMH. So and like he's known me since literally I was born.
I don't know why I knew that, but yeah, I know that actually.
No, I've definitely told
You
you.
told me that before.
Because dreams and aspirations, gotta
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you about it all the time.
It's my job.
So he's known me since like the moment I was born, and it was I'm not gonna say that part, the next part that I was gonna say, but
Okay.
I'll tell you after.
Okay.
So he works for LVMH, and like for the last like 2 years, I've literally been I've been like showing him my stuff. He's been like telling me like what to get. Or like if I tell him I'm getting something from like one of the brands that like is under that like LVMH umbrella, he'll be like, oh, that's a good choice, like, or you should get this thing instead because like even though it's less expensive, it's more worth your money because of the actual value of the product. So I kind of want to be able to like get to that point where I like understand like that even if something's like less expensive, then like but it's like more quality, you know?
Quality over price. type
Exactly.
thing.
So like
Yes.
a simple design can be worth more just because of a logo. But if it's something that's actually more intricate, it could be less expensive because it doesn't have that like huge logo on it. So like Louis Vuitton bags, like that symbol, or Gucci, you know exactly what that looks like.
A great example is Kate Spade.
Yeah.
You know Kate Spade.
Mhm.
So I remember the story because it's so crazy. She just sold random handbags,
Yeah.
like in the city
Mhm.
for years. Didn't get any traction. She put her name on it and a little logo, and suddenly they were going for thousands
Exactly.
of dollars. It's
all about a
brand
logo.
recognition.
It's about a brand.
Yeah.
So actually, when I was visiting Savannah in October, I went with my dad, and we were just talking about like this exact same conversation. And he was like, okay, so let's say in the future you have a brand. What's the brand name gonna be? And I mean, like some of my friends call me JMO.
J Money.
No.
Oh.
Not gonna be J Money. That would be kind of good, but no. So a lot of my friends call me JMO, and
Yeah.
my monogram is actually JMO, so that's
Yeah.
kind of where it comes from. But the thought was that like my brand name would be like an uppercase J, a lowercase A, and then an uppercase M and O, because like that's me,
JMO.
and it's kind of like that's my brand. So I want to get to the point where like I can kind of like branch. I want to be able to like be successful in the field, but then kind of branch out on my own and show people that like I am my own designer. Like I don't need to work for. I mean, if Louis Vuitton offers me a job to be the head designer, I'm taking the job at Louis Vuitton. Or if Gucci, taking the job at Gucci.
Priorities.
But like, it would be so cool. Like I mean, Virgil Abloh, he started Off-White on his own,
Right.
and
right.
and he was also a designer for Louis Vuitton. So I mean, you can do both at once. But I think it would be so cool to just like have my
It's what
own
you put into it.
fashion brand.
It's what you put into it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like, I mean, I work. We've seen the effort that I put into the dresses that I just made, and like I think that if I just keep working the way that I did, obviously not to like the same extent. I'm gonna take a break.
Take some
every once in
time
a
off,
while. Take
Jamie.
some
Right.
taking the summer off. Don't worry. But just like following the dreams, just trying to go off on my own at some point, branch off from the mainstream,
Trying to
do
grow
my own
up.
thing,
Do her
trying to
thing.
grow up.
Yeah. Now, I do have to say, we got to cut it.
I know.
Because we're at almost an hour, and the last episode ran for more than an hour, and we had to upload it in 2 different clips. So
Yep.
we're doing an hour today. But thank you, Jamie. Jamie Munno, so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've had a lot of
This
fun,
was so
actually.
fun.
I've had a lot of
It
fun.
was really cool talking about this.
Do you want to hit the outro button? It's
Oh,
the
yes.
Beakley right.
Ooh,
There you
I'm
go.
so
Ready?
excited.
Bye.